Okay, hey, what's up? Come on in here. It's been hot and we were in one of them areas because of the storm where the power was out for a while. So here, so I'm getting things situated. So, okay, tonight's episode, a dive into DTE. Um, so we've been talking about a lot of things that's been going on with our infrastructure and our system. Are you aware that DTE is about to do an increase again? Now, I wouldn't care, if we were getting the quality services for what we're paying for. Um, okay, so how many people last year or so during storms had issues? DT came out, kind of shift the blame, especially if you're a renter or you're a homeowner, and the guidelines and property lines of the trees, the old alleyways, the clearing of the old alleyways, and keeping them cleared. Meaning when they closed off the old alleyways, who's responsible for keeping up with the old drainage and septic systems, the old pipelines, because I know everyone's received those lists. No, that's not a DTE issue, but however, the vines and the weeds that have grown into trees that are overturning. Now, when those weeds and high trees and everything grab a hold of those lines, cables, old and new, because sometimes they leave the old ones up, especially when they're replacing. What's to happen? So, that being said, we've gotten rate increases, but with that and the new build of the infrastructure or our energy grade system upgrade, we've gotten a lot of surges, power outages, high bills impacting local inflation and wages. They claim massive drops in outages and duration, but growing reports state otherwise. So even though they claim that they have a faster time and they've reduced it, how many people have had multiple outages? But with these complaints, people have noticed the misuse in funds, executive perks, political lobbying, advertising, and high exec pay, lack of in-person customer service and accountability, billing errors, and being double charged. But who are we to complain to? As well as a lot of the times, they claim that this up-to-date stuff, the meters, yes, they do protect from being the old way of people hooking up to your system. But are those new systems foolproof? Because we've seen the AI system for the IRS have issues. We've seen other systems have issues. Is this one dependable to tell your meter usage? So we have ratepayer bill of rights. I don't know how many people are aware of that and what it is. So the critics argue that the hidden corporate agreements shift infrastructure costs onto everyday families while shielding big tech firms. Customers are calling the surge protection and the warranty protections ripoffs. Now, for anybody who doesn't know, DTE has always offered where you had the home appliance packages, which became very popular within the last 10 years. However, I want to say within the last 2 years, been seeing an increase of, even though They have stepped up the wait time to same day and same week appointments. However, are they really holding forth with their quality, or is it quantity over quality for them? The reason why people are saying the surge protection plans are ripoffs is because with the system having so many issues and rolling outages and downs, you get a surge when everything pops back on. If you're not at home, who's to unplug and control? Surge protectors don't always. And when people come out to fix the things, claims are being disputed. They're using the fine print even when DTE is responsible to fix or handle the claims. So the third party that they're hiring, who is following up to see? Because people are reporting that the contractors are no-shows, they're not fixing, they're just glancing over. And if you get one that late at the end of the day on a good day, they're ready to just leave. So, profiting from grid failures raise rate hikes. Unstable grids, damaging appliances, they won't even repair. How many people has called them out and they claim that they couldn't make a repair or something wasn't protected, and then they blame the people on the phone, the people on the phone blame them. It's a back and forth thing. Now, one option that they do offer that is not highly talked about that should be looked into more is getting with your local licensed electrician, licensed and insured for this. You can get a surge protector directly installed into your electrical panel. They run anywhere from 150 to 300 estimated, which would eliminate the need for a DTE subscription as far as the surge protection. So now, for people who had an issue with the surges and had appliances damaged, you can call and file a complaint with Surge Claims at 833-452-0224. They have a Michigan Public Service Commission to file a complaint, MPSC 800-292-9555, or demand an internal review if you need HPP management to bypass customer service, but still call and give a check to customer service and realize that some of those people are overwhelmed with the whole being cussed out and gone off on all day. So just keep that in mind. Everybody is short now, and we all have something going on. We never know. So you can get that number a call at 800-566-0011. But just know there are people on your side that are working towards this. So just let people know. And yes, they are about to have another hike. So, and I'm about to find out who comes and get these lines when they come down. Because I now see why a couple of neighbors have them, and this can't be in my backyard with kids here. Yeah, 1 second. Okay, so one big hot topic right now is the rent, the renting issue for housing landlords. Okay, so we have some old rules that are still existing, but the 2025-2026 brought major changes that renters need to know. No more waiting for repairs. No more landlords doing whatever they want. No mystery fees. Meaning, Renters' Bill of Rights, the 17 Bill Renters' Bill of Rights, to be exact, Michigan rolled out a 17 package strengthening tenant protection, landlord obligations, clearer responsibilities, more accountability, and stricter timelines. Catch-up windows for the tenant, but please do not abuse them. See, people will turn around and they'll run with it and think that withholding rent because you wanted a brand new linoleum floor or countertop. No, it has to be valid reasons, valid issues to be able to put your rent in escrow. But let's get back to the topic. Tenants now get a 1 to extra 2 weeks, and please call landlord and tenants to verify this in your county before eviction paperwork can be filed. Emphasize, don't abuse these protections. They disappear when people misuse them. Now, the no more mystery fees, jump fees, and hidden charges are now banned. Allegedly, but we shall see. No more hidden administration fees, processing fees, or random charges, arbitrary rental fees. Landlords must justify fees, they can't just make them up. They used to charge for everything, especially on move out. Oh, well, the tenant did this, the tenant did that, put nails. That's normal wear and tear. But that don't mean go and break something like doors, cabinets, and then, oh, well, that was not, no, that's not normal. But then also landlords, stop just accepting pictures for your companies and what's going on. A lot of these handyman and these companies that's taking cheaper bids are reusing stuff. As in, i.e., the same holes, bigger nails, same nails, doors are falling off, um, not actually cleaning out the properties, having people pay for certain things that should be already done. And if you have not painted your house in a couple of years or bought some cheap paint, you cannot charge the person $600 come through and paint a house. And yeah, that just doesn't work. So let's make sure these things are justifiable and within means. But that don't mean go cheap. And tenants, that don't mean tear up these properties because that's a lot of the problem. We understand that these landlords are not always 100%, but also what you do and how you do is exemplary of how everybody else is treated. And a lot of people have a lengthy rental history of destroying properties. When you move in, make sure you take pictures, do the checkout list, keep a copy for yourself. Move out, do the same thing. And those are suggestions. And please do reference all this with your landlord or tenant's office. The 48-hour repair mandate, that's on safety regulated maintenance issues, must be addressed within 48 hours. Examples of safety related issues: sewage backup, no heat and water, broken exterior doors, locks, electrical hazards, broken windows affecting safety. Encourage listeners. I'm gonna encourage you all. Like I said, withholding rent and repair and deductible rules. Withholding rent rules have been guidelined. Have been updated in the guidelines. When you can withhold rent, where the money must be placed, and how to continue the documented issues. Valid and invalid reasons. Valid sewage backup, unsafe conditions, landlord ignoring major repairs. Not valid. Wanting new carpeting, changing floors, replacing windows for personal preference. Yet again, please do not abuse these rights. Soon we'll be finding out from Fair Housing what is discriminatory and what is not, because those are things that we should be made notified of. And it's kind of hard because everybody's situation is different. But however, there is a basis and a tone set for all these things. Now, the reason why I have stressed that voting, even in the preliminaries, the primaries, more than just the presidency, is important, is because did you know that a lot of these laws are coming from legislative, are coming from House, Senate, of course, but the people that we vote are councilmen, are district people, People that hold office. These are the people that hear us out. The town hall meetings, getting together, chiming in, writing, corresponding with them, reaching out and connecting with them are the way that a lot of these housing restrictions for the landlords as well as the tenants are being updated and mandated. Why do I say that? Now, the House Bill 4538 stops landlords from using software algorithms to artificially raise rent based upon nearby properties. The Senate Bill 795 requires timely rental payments to be reported to credit bureaus in efforts to help renters build their credit or rebuild. Truth in Renting Act updated. Landlords must give a 90-day written notice before raising rent. No more sudden rent increases going up next month or surprises. Now, if you do a month-to-month basis, that is different. But however, everyone in the yearly contract, this applies. And please, yet again, I ask you to do the one thing that you can always do. Call and ask your local landlord and tenant. Legal aid as well. They're also in the works of, you ready? Working on rental control, deposits, and refund timelines. Deposits caps maximum deposit is 1.5 months rent. Refund timeline, landlords must return your deposit within 30 days or provide a written statement explaining deductions and why they took from your deposit. Wear and tear and abuse. Landlords cannot charge tenants for normal aging of the home. They also cannot blame tenants for repairs they never made since the 80s for real. And a lot of landlords are doing temporary binds and fixes. However, you should always let your landlord know in written form or email or in their portal, however you are to handle maintenance requests when something happens. So that way, one, you're covering yourself. It's kept in a timely fashion. It leaves a paper trail for you. Take videos. Sorry, this is the day and the age we live in. Contractors abuse and fake repairs. Unqualified contractors. A lot of landlords do that to save costs. And a lot of that has to do with how you all treat the property and what you do at the property. This is your home. Still take care of it. Yes, we do have a lot of landlords, slumlords, people in rental property companies who, hey, they do a lot of shady stuff. But as well, that doesn't mean destroy the property full. Because a lot of times if you go to court, a judge will hear you out and be fair. We can all comprise a list. People start reading reviews. Let people know. There are a couple of companies out there, even apartment complexes, manufactured homes. I know a lot of people have seen over the winter where the elderly, high rises, low income, they didn't have heat. They don't have elevators. And those elderly people are people that are disabled, are carrying stuff 10 flights, 5 flights. They're doing a lot. But who's keeping up with that? So do the same laws apply to the rent to own? Are they protected in some form of shape or fashion? We'll get to that next. The low income, like the Detroit Housing Commission, there have been a lot of complaints about them. Property management companies, can we get a list and people who have personal references? This isn't just in the city though. This is in Oakland County. There are a lot. I read a lot. There have been complaints about Old Dutch Farms. There's one in Milford. There's a couple. The Brewsters, the Diggs, Martin Luther King projects. People claim that things were done fraudulently or claims fires happen, they're not completely fixing the properties. Then they're settling in court and doing the total opposite. People are getting things put on their credit report. How does that save the consumer? And people who have had to pay it off, can they get their money back if they can prove it? These are things that need to be questioned. People are renting houses that were just rented, or someone just moved out, and within 2 weeks or a week, someone moves in, repairs are not done, and the same exact charges are done for the last two tenants. And then it's filed with the credit bureaus. So how do you dispute that, especially when they get to the credit bureaus and you have proof? These are things people need to know how to do. And hey, who's here to protect you? That's why they started to change the laws, because people started to actually have a voice and stand up and make the complaints, file the complaints, write the complaints, keep the pictures, and standing up for themselves and advocating in court. Now let's spread the awareness. And like I said, if anyone has any names of any apartments in and out of the state, in and out of the city, houses, rental companies, please do. Now, the rent to own and land contracts. A lot of people should be careful doing things of that nature. I do know a couple people who have bad issues, but the reason why is when you do a land contract, or no, a rent to own, you're paying the person off for the house. But if they go out and take out a second mortgage or anything, who's responsible? Whose names go under it? And can it be done without your acknowledgement? So be careful who you do certain contracts and how you do them. Have everything notarized and everything drawn out. Do it the proper way. I know a lot of people go around, I own this house, I own that house, and a lot of people are getting scammed out of it that way. You don't want to move your family in, put into a house for somebody to come back, take it from you, and then sell it to somebody else, and you're out money. And your family is left in hard times. So, always, I encourage everybody to verify ownership. Then you have part 10. Y'all ready for this? Part. People with Section 8. You have a lot of landlords or property management companies who specialize in that division, who like to rip off the tenant and overcharge. They'll raise the rent and haven't done the repairs or half repairs. Go-To Guys and a couple other companies are and apologies if somebody feels I'm wrong. There are enough people who have made comments, reviews, people suggest. I look it up. So make sure you guys start reading the reviews and the comments. They help. Don't just look at the good ones, look at the bad ones. Weigh out your options, talk to the person, and see what happens. And if you have to, call the city inspectors. Let them come out and see. Let them contact them. If stuff isn't repaired or doesn't get repaired, call again. It matters. They actually keep a file on stuff like this. And this is how they come up with the laws, and they review them every so often to be able to listen to the renters or the people who are buying the houses to find out what's going on. That's how the city has been making great strides and efforts to help. They hear you. You just have to speak up, and in a good manner, in a healthy way. And when you start noticing the issues, that don't mean that you just hold the money. They have escrow. As long as you have valid reasons, they will let you know you can place it in escrow. Let the landlord deal with them to update the property, especially when it comes to safety. But yet again, we as renters have to understand that that doesn't give you the right to just do it just because, or to destroy their properties. And also, landlords, if you put one thing in one place for someone, do it for all of your tenants, especially if you're receiving the payment in money. So, how many of you guys have been ripped off by landlords? Illegal fees, unsafe homes, eviction threats, rent-to-own scams. Reach out. Let your Senate, your Congress, let the right channels know. Reach out to landlord tenants. Reach out to the inspectors. Hey, they're hiring. Get certified. Help. Get the education. That's what it's all about, right? Okay. Last one. Just giving y'all a heads up. Untapped resources, untapped funds. You never know. So, major class action lawsuits of 2026. You have Oracle securities fraud, Rich Tech Robotics, Sallie Mae, SLM Corp, Plug Power, Ultragenyx Pharma, Bell Ring Brands. And if you're asking what they are, all right, if you've used them, Oracle, accused of misleading investors about financial performance. Rich Tech Robotics, investor lawsuit over misleading disclosures. Sallie Mae, alleged misrepresentation of loan loss mitigation and delinquency rates. Plug Power, claims the company overstated funding and commercial progress. Ultragenyx Pharma, alleged omissions about clinical trials outcomes. Bell Ring Brands, claims of misleading sales performance projections. Open consumer settlement claims. You can file now. You ready? Comcast, data breach, tender age discrimination. Tyson and Cargill, beef price fixing. Discover, merchant fees. Lakeview, loan servicing data breach. Massive national cases to watch out for. AFFF, firefighting phone. Ain't that the phone that's supposed to go out and save us from fire? Okay. Camp Lejeune water contamination. I'm probably not pronouncing that right. Lejeune. Social media U-turn, like Meta, TikTok, Snap. Roundup weed killer. Now this is crazy because I heard that the weed killer actually has particles in it. And I found out about this about a month ago when I was looking for some weed killer, and this is why I didn't. Roundup, and that's another company, they actually give you the crabgrass and the weed so that way you keep using their stuff. And I guess that person was right. And then talcum powder by Johnson & Johnson. Listen, people, we already know by now. You don't have to use talcum powder and baby powder. Get you some... Never mind. Let me say that for a health episode. And my suggestions. Keep my mind. Yeah. All right, so here we go. If you've had CarShield and you got your car back and there was issues, no brainer. CarShield was hit with a major federal action lawsuit. The FTC found that CarShield advertised you'll never pay for expensive repairs again, but hid massive exclusions in the fine print, denied many legitimate claims, misled customers with celebrity endorsements, charged up to $120 a month for plans that didn't cover repairs. Federal listen. Basically, That they did not follow through making sure that repairs were done right up to code. They authorized release the vehicles, never really looked over it, and released parts that were not supposed to be. Basically, listen, aftermarket wasn't just aftermarket. Funds sent out. In December 2025, FTC sent 9.6 million in refunds to almost 170,000 customers who paid for CarShield contracts and had claims denied. Common complaints: repairs not covered, required customers to pay diagnostic fees, would only approve rebuilt parts. What did I just say? Mechanics refused to accept CarShield. Also, assuring on what customers are reporting, and that's the phone. They're having issues with phone insurance, repairs, appliance protection, and retail warranties. And I know that's not lying. I went to Apple with the issue with my tablet. I had already ordered it. This was the second time. The issue the second time was that they went up on the price and had an issue with the system. Apple sells Apple warranties, everyone. More affordable, better hands-on experience, and they honor it. Nothing against T-Mobile, Verizon, or anything, but I'm learning that they changed their prices, and they got to make money too. But why am I paying $18 a month? And Apple could do it for less than $7 for one device. Check into it. And they have the screen protectors, privacy screen protectors for life. And as soon as they upgrade the phones with the newest ones, they stop ordering your screen protectors. You got a hard time getting them. And then it's a back and forth with the stores. So, just my suggestion. And what the data shows, over 1.415 better business, 1,400 better business complaints in the last 3 years. Issues include denied claims, delays, wrong replacement, no-show text, refund disputes. Check it out. Plus, there's more than just CarShield having issues and being sued with the warranty. So, really? That's all I got for you tonight. Be on the lookout. Check your emails. Never know when your next blessing is coming. Let's go ahead and get out, find out who's running for governor, find out what's going on with the governor's race, the Senate, the House. Let's see who's there for us and what they're willing to do. We done been ripped off by enough crooks. Let's rebuild Detroit and every other city the way that we should, how it should. If you have any comments or want to pass on an experience, please let us know. We're here to listen. Peace. No. Let's see. I almost forgot. Okay, so let's see. Another powerful one from the 1800s. That which does not kill us makes us stronger. If you want something a little more poetic, the oak fought the wind and was broke. The willow bent when it must and survived. Fire is the test of gold, adversity of strong men. Y'all be good. Till next